chance in the European Cup against Stuttgart, the team they say has more foreign reserves than the Bank of England. Leeds won 2-1 in Barcelona in front of a tiny crowd. Their hero was Talking Shutt. He scored the winner less than a minute after coming on as a substitute, and tomorrow's his birthday.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 166 of the Talking Shutt podcast. Big thanks to our ever-present sponsors, the guys at The Athletic, Manscapped, keeping your balls nice and trim, and our retro kit legends over at The Terrace. As you may see, if you're watching live, as a few people are, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, make sure you share the stream, get other people on board. If you're in any Facebook groups, share it to there as well. But as you can see, the 4 has become 3 tonight because, unfortunately, Raggy has been struck down by some mystery illness that is not COVID-19, so that's good news for Rags. But
that's not confirmed. He's not confirmed that it's not
allegedly. Well, he says it's not COVID. He said he's done a test and it's not COVID. So he's got some other mystery illness that's floating about, but it is going around a little bit, to be fair. So it's just the 3 of us tonight. So good evening to Mike, sporting a lovely beanie hat tonight. Mike, is it cold in your bedroom?
Yeah, and I'm not putting bloody heating on.
Can't fault them, yeah. Yorkshireman and all that. Not until January, innit?
It's sort of Leeds, but not Leeds.
Yeah,
because it's yellow.
They'll do. And joined by a very windy, prior to the show, Ben Tomlinson, who was sharing some lovely burps before we came on.
He's been
Pepsi Max.
Strong burps, yeah.
It's very gassy as Pepsi Max, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it, to be fair. So, loads to get through tonight. The Wolves game, the Arsenal game, and all the other stuff that goes in between. Best place to start is back at Ellen Road this past Saturday. The visit of Wolverhampton Wanderers, or lamb or sheep in Wolves clothing, because every time the ball went near any of them, they fell on the floor. Especially Connor Cody, which I know Rags loves a lot. Yeah. The ball bounces off his head and he happens to be on the floor.
You can have a rant about him.
It's like a thing.
Can't we? It's like the only centre back who can't head the ball without being concussed.
Dying.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened like the last 3 times we played it.
Yeah.
It's a shame and all, because after Connor Cody came out and spoke glowingly about representing England, I want to like him. But when he's doing shithouse things like that, I just can't bring myself to like him. I feel like I'm betraying myself.
The ball did hit him quite hard in the head.
Oh, but come on.
He's a centre-back.
He's a centre-back, that... get yourself cut, all that type of stuff. No, just fall on the floor and have a ball that shouldn't head. Anyway, Ellen Road, Saturday. I didn't make it. It was my birthday this Saturday, so my wife had lots of plans for us, so I didn't make it to Ellen Road. I had a lovely day, though. Ben, you were obviously there in your season ticket seat. I think me and Mike caught up with the game via some normal channels.
Via, I think it was Jamaica. I went to Jamaica for the.
I had to go to. I normally visit Hong Kong, but this time it's to South Africa.
South Africa, yeah. Did you get the adverts about?
I did.
Everything's in rand.
Yeah,
great.
It was quite interesting. Anyway, overall, then the game, we can kind of encompass the game into one sort of saying that we dominated from start to finish, really. But let's talk about Wolves' goal to start with. Initially, I got a flood of texts saying, poor defending again, appalling. I think Jack Harrison sells himself a little bit, but they're very fortunate that the ball then just happens to bounce back to the lad whose name eludes me at the moment, and he happens to just put it in. It's just one of them, innit? Like, we're struggling so much at the moment with any sort of luck, and much of it is our own doing, but that just kind of summed it up for me, where I thought, we're one of them teams at the minute where we're not getting much luck, and that just summed it up. That it just happens to fall back to him and he taps it in the net. But I think the positive
your own
thing,
luck, but
it's like
you can't defend like that either.
No, that's it. Yeah, there's enough people there to deal with it, but we don't, and then it just happens to fall to him again.
From the first bit, I mean, you can't. all right, Jack Harrison's not a fullback. And there was sort of a bit of a thing of people saying Jack Harrison should play fullback.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that summed up why he shouldn't.
But
because
that's all off the back of one
role,
performance when he covered the left-hand side of the pitch when we were very much in the ascendancy. It's very different when you're playing against a team where potentially you're not in the ascendancy. And to be fair, Saturday, we were absolutely in the ascendancy. We looked like the Leeds United that we remember from last year in the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt. It's easy, or it was easy a little bit to sort of get bogged down with it. And I was a bit guilty watching on stream thinking, do you know what, if we get beat again 1-0, we're in bother. Not because we're particularly played badly. It's just not going for us at the moment.
Is the fact of it like being shithoused for a 1-0 third time in a row by Wolves, which personally I don't know about anyone else, but I think I would have just lost my shit at that. Like, you know what I mean? Just being shithoused like by Wolves, who are a good team as well. You know, they don't need to do that. They don't need to be shithousing. But, it was... I mean, and the performance as well. You think, if we put that performance in against Southampton, we win the game. It's like, it's frustrating that we put performances in against teams that, you know, we're not expecting to win. And then we play, you know, Southampton, Burnley, whatever, and we don't put that performance in again. And it's like, it's frustrating, you know. It's like, put the performances in against the bottom half teams and we'll pick up 3 points every time, you know. But, yeah.
In the build-up, there was a lot of talk about Raf at 10. I got a flood of text. Raf's playing at 10, Raf's playing at 10. And then when we kicked off, Dan James was playing at 9. Rodrigo was playing at 10. And Raf was in his usual position and Harrison was out there on the left. He's got form for doing this before, hasn't he, Marcelo? He put Harrison through the middle against Millwall many, many moons ago when we were playing in the Championship. It didn't work, did it? It didn't work. Should we just settle that it didn't work? James through the 9.
I don't think it worked because of James. I think there were flashes there of it potentially working. We just didn't have the right players to play the right balls. The balls weren't good enough. And... as well, we didn't win enough second balls. We play it up, which James was never going to win. But if you then win the second balls, and then James can just turn them and get in behind, and we didn't do that enough.
Yeah, I remember shouting at the screen like they're winning every second ball. Like I just remember shouting that. I think the final third was just it's the thing of we need centre mids, we need midfield players that are comfortable on the ball and can bring it down and control it. We're missing Bamford for that. Like we all know we're missing Bamford for that because we're just lacking that presence in the final third. That said, like I said, we were much better. I felt like
much better.
We actually had a midfield. You know, I think in terms of midfield, we couldn't do much worse than Southampton, like because they're just non-existent. So in terms of progress, like I was happy. I was really buzzing. You know, I think by the end of the game, I think I agree with Ben. I think we said, you know, we deserved the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And as the game kept going, the momentum kept going for us.
Them last 30 minutes, we had a bee in us bonnet again. We looked like Leeds.
Yeah.
We looked like what we're high tempo. We're in the faces. We turned them round quick. You know, and the shithousers, they tried to kill time and they wasted it. But you know, in the end, that's actually a bit of a compliment because it just shows how much of in the ascendancy we were, that they were trying to kill us at every opportunity. And to be honest, obviously I weren't at the game as I've already said, but the crowd at Ellen Road, that even from at home watching on telly, they roared the team on. And there's been a lot of talk recently on social media about getting behind the team and all that type of stuff. And I think it gets lost in translation a little bit, that people believe that that what gets said on social media, crosses over to inside the ground. And I think it's a load of nonsense. Even when we saw Bamford getting a fair bit of stick in the Championship before he hit his purple patch, social media was absolutely awash with people saying he weren't good enough and all that type of stuff, which is cool because he weren't performing to the levels he could be. But in the ground, it was 100% support. And I can honestly say I can't really remember a toxic atmosphere post probably Bates, Chilino, when it used to get quite toxic. But even then, it was like tongue in cheek. gallows humor tactic as opposed to like abusing people. I don't even really remember a massive amount of sort of abuse going off. Yeah, there's the audible frustration with bad passes and stuff, but
even the Liverpool game, like we were at that, and the atmosphere there, it wasn't buzzing because it's a two-way thing, isn't it? If the team start playing, the crowd get behind them, and vice versa, and it just snowballs.
Well, that's sort of like the whole thing of like. I guess the whole thing from it was the crowd kind of lifted the team.
Yeah.
But you don't like. You could say
all
like
it takes is like one big heavy tackle or
something like that. Yeah,
challenge at Liverpool that lifted like the entire crowd. Unfortunately, then Harvey Elliott died, but like
quite died, but
R.I.P. We have a GoFundMe, I think, still going on. But we just want to see something, like see the team. It doesn't take much for us to get, to lift the roof off.
No.
Yeah, it's weird in that sense that like, and there was the Millwall game a few years ago where it kind of comes from nowhere. I mean, I guess as football fans, you need to have something to go off. And we were playing in a way we were sort of back to how we do play, but we weren't quite making any chances, and I don't think we did. Not any sort of like clear ones, but it's weird how it just started, and then you could feel the energy of the stadium.
Yeah,
and you don't get it very often. And people have said, I've seen people on Twitter, why can't you do that all the time? It's not the same as just like you can start singing from minute one, but it's not the same. It doesn't have the same vibe about it. And once Ellen Road gets into that, it's like they can't lose from there. Back, like you could go back to when we were in the Championship with Grayson, and we had that sort of spell over Christmas where I think we brought Gradle on a few times, and that sort of lifted everything. And from then on, it were like Leeds aren't losing here.
Yeah.
And it feels the kind of the same.
You wish we had like another 30 minutes.
Yeah, but win. You can't just make that happen.
Weirdly, I think as fans, we kind of react better when we've got our backs to the wall, if that makes sense. Like, we kind of felt going into the Wolves game, we needed a response, we needed a performance. The players started giving us the performance, and then 70 minutes clicks. Joe Gellard comes on. He doesn't touch the ball for about the first 10 minutes, but the fans kind of get behind what we're trying to do, and then they roar him on, and I think Gellard came out after the game and said that you can feel the energy on the pitch, and I think that Ellen Road's quite unique for me in that respect. Obviously, I don't frequent other grounds in any great sort of frequency, so I can't massively comment. But I've been there at your West Broms when we got beat by QPR and we were still in it, and Pablo scores after 16 seconds, and I was there when Howson scores against Bristol Rovers to get us back in the game when we needed to win to get promoted, and Millwall in the semi-final of the playoffs when we get beat, but we start off with an house on fire with Becchio scoring, and the Champions League, and the list goes on and on. But the fans deserve a lot of credit for Saturday, and there's been a lot said this year about tickets and fans who maybe didn't go a great deal before, but proved on Saturday that whoever were in that ground got Leeds. Leeds Road on, and ultimately we should have really walked away with 3 points, I think. And I kind of get the feeling that had we scored a little bit earlier, we would have gone on to get 3 points. Would have gone on to win the game. Had Raf stayed on the pitch, I feel like he would have drove us on, and we probably
without a doubt
would have won that game. We had a shadow of a doubt. Couple of talking points then.
Does that segue us on to the foul?
No, I'm not going to come to the foul in a bit because it ruined my birthday. But before we get that, Rodrigo Moreno, he divides opinion on such a big spectrum, on up and down the land on social media. How I kind of stand on him is, yes, the argument I have is if we paid 27 million for Patrick Bamford and 5 million for Rodrigo, would he be getting quite this amount of stick? That's my sort of feeling. But anyway,
of course, the price, the price tag always.
I think the price tag hangs around his neck massively.
Yeah,
I think yes, he could have been better at times throughout the season, but I also think that he's not had a great deal of service. His first touch, His first touch needs to be better at times. He showed it last night at the Emirates. The one where his first touch were a pass. He looked like me from 10 years ago playing Sunday League. But, I mean, Ben, Rodrigo, you put in the notes about him not having a great game against Southampton but coming good against Wolves. What's your thoughts on him?
Well, yeah, I think you touched on that. It's the service. Because every time we've played well and controlled the game, Rodrigo's been in that game. And I think that Rodrigo is the kind of player that is smart in what he does, but he needs he needs something to work with. You're not going to get... He's not the kind of player who's like Raf, who's going to make something out of nothing. He's going to move you about and play like that. And I think Gordon White's just saying Rodrigo plays well with Rafinha. And that's the kind of player. Rodrigo's not going to go and score you 20 goals. He's not going to... But he's influential in what he does, to bring people into play and stuff like that. And he's smart with that. Yeah.
A big issue as well I'm finding in the attack is like, when your attackers, say our front five, front four, when they're all lacking in confidence, we're trying to create high percentage chances out. We're trying to create chances that are tap-ins. And it's just so frustrating because you get to the point that it gets pinged about the box or, trying to find a bit of space. And I think a player like Rodrigo, you look to him and you go, he's the most experienced of the attack. You just need somebody just to pull out something, special. But it's really difficult to judge the players when they're in a dip. And I think collectively the attack are in a dip. And so we're trying to fanny about, create these, ridiculously easy chances for ourselves.
But you look at Rodrigo and what Rodrigo does as well, in that a lot of the time, for me, our problem is in the midfield. We've not got the player we need in midfield. So you see him coming back a lot further than what he does, and that is his game. And we joked about it a few weeks ago of like a false nine type of thing. But his game, he does drop back a lot. He gets in and turns and plays other people in wide or runners. Yeah. And there was that game, the Watford game. He did really well with Click, and Click works well there because he's running past. Yeah. So Rodrigo can drop and play Click in or whoever's wide or whatever, and they're making them runs, and that's what he's good at.
Yeah. Well, Click's better
the
off the ball.
The problem is, there's no... Especially at times against Wolves and definitely against Southampton, there was no play through the middle, like through the whole of midfield. Yeah. And Rodrigo's not the kind of striker. Bamford is maybe more, where if you get it wide, he'll get a tap in, or he gets in behind and stuff like that. I think Rodrigo will do it a few times, but that's not his game.
No.
And if we're not getting to the point where Rodrigo is dropping and collecting the ball, Rodrigo isn't really doing anything.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing for him to feed off.
I think the other thing for me as well is that I see it on social media that he becomes a lightning rod. He's gash, he's shit, get rid of him, blah, 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 blah. But then in the same respect, you've got same people saying, yeah, but Tyler's only 23 and blah, 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 blah. And like, we need to get away from that price tag. You buy a Spanish international, you pay that money. Yes, we probably expect a little bit more, but it is a team game. And Rafinha is a one-off. Let's be honest. Let's be really, really honest. Rafinha is a one-off. He will play at the very, very top of the game. And sadly, and it pains me, it won't be for us. However, the difference with Rafinha is now that we get financially recompensed for bringing him on, making him better, and then we sell him to a club that are playing in the Champions League.
I've no problems with the Leicester City model.
He's going to develop much quicker than, he has developed much quicker than we're going to as a team, and he ain't going to hang around. But I think that we need to get rid of this thing that hangs around Rodrigo's neck of this £27 million price tag. And he has had times where you think, God, that first touch could be better, or he should really be scoring there, or come on that ball. Yeah. But I get the feeling that he's trying to drag us along at the moment and probably trying a little bit too hard. And to be honest, at the moment, missing Bamford up there, that forward line minus Rafinha is devout of confidence. Jack Harrison looks a shadow of his former self, whether that's the hangover from COVID he had not so long ago. Yeah. Dan James, there's some bright sparks every now and again, but then it comes to the cutting edge to the final ball and it's lacking a little bit. You know, you kind of hope that that'll come as time goes on.
Roberts, but yeah, I'm going to defend the whole sort of attacking line in that they don't get a lot of the things they're having to do is like I thought that at the beginning of the season, Firpo, as much as Firpo struggled a bit and needed to play more, Firpo and Harrison were making quite a good sort of partnership.
They were good against
They kind
Everton.
of understood each other a bit, and that kind of worked. And then so Harrison loses his sort of wing partner. It then gets COVID and he's been out, and then he's back in, and then we bring James in and stuff like that. And there's no consistency in how they're playing, sort of thing. I think last night Harrison was on the right, and then changed over with Somerville, and Harrison's been used to that consistency where he's played on the left for however long, and he's had pretty much it's either been Dallas or Alioski in the last year who he's played with. But then the whole team's disjointed as well, so none of them attacking players are getting the service or the backup and they're having to defend more to sort of compensate for that.
Yeah,
and I feel for the attacking side of the game because we've not looked at the Leeds United that we know of last year as free flowing attack because of that for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. However, I totally agree that the international breaks, COVID, injuries, all that, we've been really stop-start. It feels like we haven't had a good run of the same 11 to kind of get into a stride. However, some final ball, some decision-making in the final third, to me, screams out that we're devout of confidence.
The shooting
James, when he runs
but does that not all follow on from it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying it's not. I'm not saying the bad players on that, but it's all like a mixing pot of issues at the minute. And for me, and I'll openly say it, for me, I think it's criminal that we've spent 2 windows trying to get a central midfielder, and you watch that team playing, you think we are screaming out for a central midfielder, absolutely screaming out. And I mean, Forshaw plays last night. I know we're jumping forward a little bit to Arsenal, and I saw people saying he's 5 yards off the pace. He's played like 3 games in 2.5 years or something. He's going to be but I think what people don't realise is he dictated the play a little bit last night. He weren't scared to get on the ball in tight areas.
The problem with that last night, and you could say it's been the whole of the season, we don't have a player who attacks and defends.
No.
So you could say for Forshaw that he is more sit back, and I guess in a way, if he played with Calvin Phillips, it's more like a 2 than the sort of 1 Calvin on his own, because Forshaw's more back. But then you put a Click in, which and I understand from what Bielsa was saying that he brought Click in to make it more attacking, but it made it that much attacking that we had nothing in midfield then. It was literally like 5 and 5.
Yeah.
There was nothing linking them two. And they're the problems we had against Southampton and the games that we haven't played well this year. There's no link between it. And we're as much as we talked about it in the summer and we went after Gallagher, we went after O'Brien, and the club chose not to do that, and for whatever reasons, we're really missing that number 8 that can do a bit of both.
Yeah, we are, mate. It's screaming out for it. It's absolutely screaming out for it.
It's the quality as well. Like, our attacking focal point is Rafinha, as we know. Like we're saying about confidence and stuff, the natural focal point for any attack should be the number 9, right? But you look at Liverpool's front three and the chances that Salah's getting as a winger, he's like in the box because he can run so free. It's just that difference in quality. And the centre mid we wanted was somebody that could unbalance the play even more, and draw 2 defenders onto him rather than 1. But because we're lacking in the quality, well, we're not. It's confidence. It's not quality. Our players can be quality. We've seen it. It's a confidence thing. But it allows them to go man for man.
I disagree.
Only Rafinha unbalances the play for us, I think.
I disagree in that I think it is a quality issue. Because neither, the 2 centre midfielders that we discussed there, Forshaw or Klitsch, neither are good enough at doing the other.
Also, I was on about the forwards. The centre mid is a quality issue. I mean, the forwards are quality.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it. But yeah, the centre mids, that is a quality issue for sure.
But I think it all stems from us not being able to control a game.
Yeah.
And that affects on the confidence of the attackers because they know if they mess up, they've got to get back and help that out. They're getting into positions and nothing's coming to them because we don't have any control. It's either the only way we make something is a pass from Llorente or a pass from Phillips.
Yeah.
Because we've got Shackleton's done all right, but he didn't have the best of games against Wolves, but then again, it were against some decent players. And yeah, he maybe had a bit of a knock of confidence sort of early on. I think he got beat, but if we had Ayling and Fairport, I think it'd probably be quite a bit different because they are proper. And another thing for Shackleton, he's not a right back; he's a centre mid.
Yeah.
And I think they showed last night that playing drama, it makes a huge difference having someone that is actual position.
Yeah. That said, mate, I mean, correct me if you think differently, but I don't think we defended particularly terrible against either teams, against Wolves or Arsenal.
No.
I mean, we got beat by Arsenal last night, and second half we just weren't at it. But other than Melier, Dick Ballart at net twice, come for a couple of crosses. It's not like he's pulling out worldies to keep us in game. They got in good areas, Arsenal, but they were guilty of being wasteful. But, I think as a unit, even when we brought Cooper on, it's a terrible mistake, and we'll talk about the Arsenal game in a bit, but I don't think we defended badly in either game. And I kind of feel sorry a little bit for Stuart Dallas. He's dreadfully out of form. Out of form. Don't get me wrong, though. I think in the Wolves game and the Arsenal game, he's began to look a little bit more like Stuart Dallas on that left-hand side.
Definitely second half against Wolves, it was loads better.
Yeah.
He's loads better. But again, we're like, we every now and again we're bobbing him in midfield and said, do us a job there. And he's out of form himself, and it's a big ask, to be fair. But
who was it in the group chat? Was it Raggy that said Dallas is done? And then as soon as he sent that message, Dallas started actually performing. I can't remember. I think he sent it like 50th minute or something.
Might have been to be fair.
Yeah. One thing we did see on Saturday was Pascal Struijk back in that holding role. I think we all unanimously agreed prior to the game that we prefer not to see him there. He just hasn't got the same attributes as Calvin has, which is a big ask anyway. But he just does occasionally look like a duck out of water when it's a 365 degree.
On this occasion, though,
yeah.
On this occasion, it helped him because of their formation.
Yes.
He pretty much got a free roll into do what he wants because of how they set up.
Yeah.
So in that, if we played against a 4-4-2 or however we were a 3-4-3 that like Wolves played, Struijk can play there fine because he's got the time. Whereas Phillips is, I guess we can call him elite, is one of England's better midfielders.
Yeah, he's instinctive, isn't he? He knows. I mean, there's a reason the role is named after him.
Yeah,
it's instinctive. He has a second on the ball, and he's done what he needs to do, kind of thing. Yeah.
But if you're Struijk and you're playing against a 10 in that position, which he didn't have to contend with, he then gets a tougher time.
Yeah.
And I think it simply comes down to that he got a lot more space than he would have against someone who plays a 10, a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 with like an attacking player.
But ultimately, you can't judge him on what he played against, and he was steady away. I thought Saturday he didn't look out of place particularly. Before we get on to the good stuff, which is Joe Gellart winning as a penalty, I want to particularly touch on a bit that really, really, really annoyed me and borderline spoiled my birthday Saturday night.
Did you throw the cake on the floor?
Mate, I didn't get a cake. I'm not a cake fan. But
what?
Having watched, I don't like cake. Having watched Sayers. Yeah, I've been watching Sayers' tackle about 300 times. It is absolute right, and I'm not going to rant too much, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He makes sure that he catches Raf. If you watch his eye line, he's watching his own feet make contact with Raf in a position that he knows is going to hurt him, makes no intention to pay the ball whatsoever, but just happens to come away with the ball and gets away with it. How the fuck it gets given as a handball? Right, two things. How the fucking hell has VAR not looked at that? And if they have, how is that not a sending off?
I think all the officials just had enough. Like,
my God, mate!
VAR must not have been working, and the referee were just awful anyway.
The thing away from the shit ref and VAR is he's gone to hurt him. A fellow professional has gone to hurt him. Now, we saw Pascal get dragged through the press by certain people, normally people who work for TalkSport, because of a tackle where he actually wins the ball and Craig Pawson waves play on. It's not been said. I've not seen a single thing about the tackle after. Not a thing. Loads of stuff about Pogba. Don't give a fuck about him. How's he got away with that? He's that could have been a leg breaker. That could have been
season over. A simple answer to that. It went against Leeds. The top 4 side.
It's Leeds. I've always kind of bordered on the I don't really believe this at all against Leeds rhetoric, but I fucking do now. That is absolutely outrageous. I was so fucking cross Saturday night. Honestly, I was so fucking cross. How the players on the pitch didn't hold themselves together to fucking want blood, I don't know, because it's not just naughty, it's fucking vindictive. He knows what he's doing. He fucking goes to hurt a fellow professional. Cunt.
I said it a few games ago. I said with our forwards lacking in confidence, like I said, the focus is now, our attacking focus is Rafinha. It's made us into a one-man team. And this, I said to a mate of mine a few games ago, I said, every team is going to kick fuck out of Rafinha. Yeah. Every team is going to stick one on him. And it's happened,
But the thing is,
Fernandinho last season.
That's where it is the ref's fucking job to maintain the welfare of the players on the pitch. And he's not done his job. What's happened to him? Where's the refereeing panel looking back and saying, mate, you've got that well wrong. Look at this, you've got that wrong.
Even when he was on the floor, on Saturday. Even when he was on the floor in agony, and the ref goes, get off the pitch, and makes him get up and hop off the pitch, just fucking disgraceful. And then one of their players goes down. All the time in the world, got all the time in the world, mate. It's fucking.
While I'm on my high horse, fucking Raul Jimenez is a fucking disgrace to the beautiful game. Absolute cunt. A fucking absolute akin to Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. Every time ball coming in, rolling around that floor. When Melier sent him for an hot dog, he's rolling around that floor, then reckoning he's twisting. Mate, as a human being, as a professional footballer, I would not do that just because I want to embarrass myself. Talk about professionalism, talk about gamesmanship and all this type of shit. It goes out the window. Be a fucking human, first and foremost. Don't be a massive cunt. It fucking pisses me off.
Well, I
fucking hate it. It's cheating.
It's cheating. I saw a load of stuff after, like Wolves fans going, I didn't really get the hype about Leeds fans, but you're the best fans in the league. And then all these Leeds fans commenting back saying, fair play. Fuck off. Your lads are all shit houses. I don't want to be mates with Wolves fans. I don't want
to be mates with anybody. I don't want to be mates with any fans. I want to be loathed. I want to be hated. I don't want to walk down the street and be, oh look, you play nice football. I hope the haters. I hope they call us scum. I don't care. The problem we've got is that the referees are absolutely incompetent in their job, which is the health and well-being of players on the pitch. And fucking Rafinha, mate, that could have been a 6-8 month. That could have been a career. Fucking done that. It's so bad. It is so bad. And the more and more I watched it, the more and more my blood pressure went up. And I don't know how Raf did not want to rip his kite off on pitch because he was obviously very angry. But that's a waiting tunnel after that. That is a definite waiting tunnel on my crutches to give him one right back at head as he walks down because he's gone to hurt him. He's gone to hurt him. I'm all for physical. I'm all for put yourself apart. I'm all for let your opponents know you're there. I'm all for win ball. I'm not all for shitty, underhand fucking tactics where you're trying to actually hurt somebody. It's not what football's about. Absolute cunt. And then he has the cheek. His own fucking teammate falls down when a fucking stiff breeze comes past him. Fuck off.
That was the salt in the wound. That was like, imagine if we'd lost that 1-0 and Rafinha was out for 2 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it.
Which could have easily have happened. I guess we've got lucky with it. That
we got so
it looks
lucky.
like he's going to be back at the weekend. But that could be a dangerous one.
Yeah, mate, I think it's lucky that his foot isn't planted because he's sort of just
if
coming
his
off
foot
the
is
ground.
planted, his
If
leg
his foot's
breaks.
planted, it's fucking broken ankle. Like, he's
Yeah.
done. Season's off.
But the thing that annoys me more, as you can see, I'm quite animated, is no, it's been done after. We're all sat here now on a fucking budget run podcast from our bedrooms, and the FA, the Premier League, with money coming out their ears, cannot pull, and they come out with these bollocks rules. Well, it got dealt with on pitch, all this sort of shit. Fuck off. It's dangerous. Where's the referee getting pulled in saying, you're fucking not doing your job? You've resulted in a player getting injured. Fernandinho last year, he ended up having to have chuffing near enough surgery, Raf, because of his injury. Again, he don't get it. It fucking annoys me. These referees are incompetent. Absolutely incompetent. It drives me insane.
As well. That Fernandinho one. And he nearly lost his fucking leg. He came out afterwards, Rafinha, didn't he? He said blood clots and shit.
Anyway, but let's move on. Let's move on. Joffrey Gellard comes on Saturday, and I've seen all the likes with he had a bit of a Wayne Rooney moment. It did feel like a bit of a coming out party, the way he came on and just didn't seem to be bothered about the pressure, did he? He just didn't seem to be. I think we saw at Arsenal last night. A couple of the young lads who played initially, particularly Drama early on, just played safe, made sure he made his passes, which I get. It's all nerves. Joffrey came on, no nerves. I'm going to play my game. Don't care if it's Wolves. And it's a penalty. I know, Ben, you messaged the group, you saying, is that a pen? It's a penalty.
Yeah.
It's a penalty. He gets contact. It's a penalty. Yeah, it's soft as shit. It's soft as shit. If you're a Wolves fan, you feel hard done to. I don't give a fuck. I'm not a Wolves fan. I'm a Leeds fan. So fuck them. And I'm done with Wolves anyway.
Yeah. To be honest, we're owed about 3 penalties anyway, aren't we? So,
yeah, and the rest, mate. What Ben? You were in the stadium. What did you make of Joffrey's performance?
Yeah, it came on, and I suppose it all sort of came on with the stadium sort of having that sort of atmosphere as well. But yeah, what you saw was someone get on the ball and drive towards the goal, which we don't see enough. Like I say, we would maybe a bit guilty of trying to get it so we'd pass it in sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they clearly he got the ball and went straight, like, I'm just going to run straight at you into the box. And that's how you get things like penalties. That's how you create stuff like that, or a rebound and it goes to one of our players and they can put it in or something like that. And running at players is what causes problems.
Yeah.
It terrified him. Him.
Well, do you remember when our centre-backs used to do that? Our centre-backs used to drive into space up to the halfway line. Ben White, Cooper used to do it. I remember that.
We saw it last night.
And then midfield,
the Arsenal game. They both
opposition midfields were just like, oh shit, we got to run back. And then our wingers are off and creating space and problems. And but no, that directness, I think it is really a confidence issue. Like, I think Joffrey's just coming in, that naive confidence of, young players. Eddie and Nketiah had it last season before last, sorry. Love to see it, and I hope we get to see more, But ideally, like, there's the whole Roberts conundrum, and I'm sure we've said before, like, I'd rather see Rodrigo in there and Gellard up front. Because it's just, it's just directness, it's strength, it's getting in the box. It's kind of.
It looks like a proper striker, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's what I'd hoped. It's the runs I'd hoped Dan James would make. Obviously, coming in from the left, but it's just something different, and it's so refreshing, and it might well be it is at a time when we need it most.
Do you know what? Do you know what I like about him? He's a bit of a little knobhead. I saw him. Ball went, and he went and clattered into one of Wolves players, and I like that. Where they're going to go, hold on a minute, you little shit. You've just come on. And then he just give me the ball and watch this. I like that. That's what we need. That's what a little bit of arrogance. That's what Raf's like. Give me it and I'll make things happen. And Joffrey's got that. Give me it and I'll make things happen. But also that little bit of devilment, I think, is a phrase that gets used a lot in the media. But a little bit of that about, I'm not scared of you. Just so what kind of code if you've got a massive
game now, and he's trying to find his place in the food chain, isn't he? With Premier League centre backs. So he's going to be.
Mate, as it currently stands, I would argue in his food chain at Leeds United, I'd argue he's behind is just behind Rodrigo for me for
Yeah,
the 9 and the 10. Because at the minute, and we've said it before and we've said it again, and we want nothing more on this podcast than Tyler Roberts to prove it all wrong. But at the minute, he's a complete passenger. He's a complete passenger. His decision making in the final third is absolutely woeful. His positioning at times for me is woeful, but he's not on his own. I'm not digging him out, just saying that he's the problem to all our problems at the minute. He's not. But for me, he's not doing enough to be in the team.
He doesn't help the problems either.
No, he don't. No, he don't. But anyway,
and just on the attitude thing, I saw the same with Charlie Cresswell when I was watching the under-23s. That his sort of, and I guess Joffrey's the same, but obviously Cresswell's a defender. His sort of mentality is like, if there's a ball coming in and he's going to head it, he's like, "That's my ball. I'm heading it. Fuck anyone else.
I'm the biggest bastard."
And that's kind of what Joffrey's like. He's like, "I've got the ball. I'm getting in the box. I'm going to shoot." And that's what all good footballers sort of, at least how they get into the game when they're young, and that's how they get to that level, because they've got to have the attitude that that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Whereas
he's not thinking, I need to pass it to somebody. I need to pass it. I need to square it.
But that's the kind of thing that you see from Roberts. You don't see the same thing. It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah. It's like there's
and
three
that's
things
the two differences in, because and I very much think that Roberts could do them. I think he's got a lot of ability.
Yeah,
but getting to do that ability just seems like the hardest thing in the world for him
at the moment. Yeah, definitely.
He should have gone out.
There's probably an element of him. There's probably an element of him well aware of the criticism and trying a little bit too hard at times to do the right things. So we'll have to wait and see. Moving on a little bit then, lads, because we've kind of done that a little bit to death. But down at the Capitol last night, I just need to sort of nick the podcast a minute and just give a shout out to my son Judd. We had tickets for the Arsenal game. We had an hotel booked. We had a parking spot booked, and on the morning of the game, we did a lateral flow test, and unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19. He's since had a PCR test and tested positive for COVID. He's absolutely devastated, and I know he's locked in his bedroom at the minute in isolation. Day 2, and it's killing him already. And I know he's watching. So, mate, 8 days to do. Dig it out, and we'll get down to Emirates again soon. But just a shout out to him. He was absolutely devastated. Luckily, I managed to get the tickets on, so they didn't go to waste. But anyway, down at the Emirates.
Just on that as well, Dave Thornton said what happened to the live pods at Ossett. That's probably the main reason why we're on here, because obviously if Gary's passes it on, and then we've all got families and shit. We didn't need to be getting together when we don't have to be, sort of, for that reason, kind of thing.
Now, bit of common sense. I'm just waiting for my PCR test to come back negative. I have had multiple lateral flows negative, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so that's the reason why we're not there. Down at the Capitol then last night, lads, game of 2 halves, I would say. First half, we looked like the Leeds United that we should be, playing well on the counter, getting at Arsenal. Second half, not so much. We saw the debut of Cody Drama at right back. He had a very, very solid debut for me. I think he'll only get better and better. Defensively, I thought he was excellent. He had Martin.
I want to credit the team a bit with that. I think the team did well with him.
They looked after him a bit, didn't they?
They didn't want to sort of put him in a position where he didn't have to do anything as such, like, out of the extraordinary. They just sort of eased him in and looked after him, and I think that's what you need as a young sort of fullback like that. And then bring him into more and more sort of thing, which he did through the game, and he did some nice stuff. He got some good tackles in, and all in all, it was a good debut, really.
I think the commentary team picked up on it, that Llorente wasn't giving it to Drama in the first sort of 10, 20, 30 minutes. And there was one point where I think Drama made a bit of a mistake, slightly out of position, miss it one. I can't remember where. Llorente jumped on him. I think, that was it. Llorente passing the ball. Drama didn't come to meet the ball, which is obviously
it was a bit of a pass,
sacrilege in professional football. Yeah, it was a bit of a pass. But he jumped on him, but then patted him on back, and built him up. And I think when the young lads have come in, I think the senior players have done well in bringing them bringing them through, kind of thing. Arsenal have been on a rich vein of form, I think is the phrase recently. They've had an upturn under Mr. Spray on Hair, the Poundland Pep Guardiola, who's now on my shit list. Game of two halves, Ben. For me, I thought that when we brought on Click for Forshaw, and then when we kept making the changes, I felt like Arsenal went up a gear. They played about 5 yards further up. We couldn't match them. And then we kind of ended up a little bit disjointed with the changes. They continued to just crack on through, and we couldn't really deal with them. And then, again, 2 sloppy goals, set pieces. Shouldn't really concede from second phase of play from a set piece. And then Cooper, as a complete heads gone moment, decides to make a 45-yard pass with his head back to Melia, misses out, and Eddie Nketiah nicks in. And
he should have gone down concussed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I think we sort of touched on it earlier, that the difference was that with Forshaw, we were maybe too defensive, but we were making a lot of decent-ish chances.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times we were getting in behind, and maybe it was because Forshaw can't do much more time than what he did right now. I don't know. I guess that's the thing, but I wish we'd have stuck with it because... And like I said, Bielsa said that he did that to sort of make us more attacking, but in that we lost control of the game. And I think any subs after that, I don't think it made that much of a difference because we didn't have control after that.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then the rest of the subs, I think he just thought, well, we're not getting back. And I think it was pretty much straight after they scored. It was like, well, that's it then.
Yeah, agree, mate. Yeah, I think the first goal buried it.
Scoring first, don't we?
Yeah.
If we want anything from these games now.
Yeah.
And on that note, can I just say as well, Harrison, what a strike as well. First half, Leno, what a save.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about Harrison. You know, if that goes in, I think Harrison he sort of lifts again. But
yeah.
I feel like we need a bit of luck.
Any of them?
I feel like we need a bit of luck.
If it takes a deflection or something, but yeah.
I feel like this coming weekend down in D.L.A. Smithland, we just maybe need one to go in off somebody's ass early on in the game, but us being the ascendancy and maybe get a second. And do you know what? We said it many times in Championship. Somebody will get a Tonkin this year, I think. Again, I think somebody will get a 4, or a 4-0 or some offers this year. I don't know who that'll be. Hopefully Brighton. Just a bit of luck. I did feel like second half it were kind of done for. I felt like we weren't really in game second half, and a fair result. And Arsenal are sort of on the front foot a little bit at the minute. They've had a bit of an Indian summer under the Poundland Pep. So fair play to them. But ultimately,
it was a shame because I thought we did really well first half, and we were the better side.
Yeah,
I agree.
And
totally agree.
I guess, like I said, there were the reasons behind taking Forshaw off, but it kind of just killed his momentum. And
you get the feeling, don't you, against the big teams like Arsenal, that you need to score first. You need to score while you're on top. If you're not on top, then
I think it's more we need to control the ball, even if we're not making a lot.
Those go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah.
Because if we ain't controlling the ball and controlling the midfield, we ain't scoring.
We're not making anything. Yeah, and that was exactly. I said the big teams, but that happened against Southampton. But if we need control of the game, to get somewhere, and that's the big problem that we have, that we can't. It worked last year, sort of back end of last year with Dallas and him playing in the 8, but it was always a big ask for him to do that again.
Yeah.
And then especially with the form he's been in.
But from the 2 games, for me, and I tweeted it last night and I got a bit of stick, but that's Twitter. Positive signs I feel from the 2 games. Personally, I feel like
we've
looked more like Leeds, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely from where we were against Southampton, where we just didn't. I mean, I'm glad I didn't do the podcast last week because I went to Alton Towers, but yeah. I thought, fuck that, I'd rather go to Alton Towers. But yeah, we've come. It's like we're at least playing trying to play how we play, and that's the big thing. If we weren't doing that consistently,
We'd be
you
worried.
would then be really worried.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
I'm still worried because we're sort of getting into 8, 9, 10 games now. That's
think it's our
like a
ninth
quarter of
coming
a
up.
season.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of a season, isn't it?
Yeah,
But I suppose the other positives is Firpo to come back in, Ayling to come back in, Calvin's had
Yeah.
a rest, got minutes under his belt last night, comes in again, you'd imagine, against Norwich as long as he come through last night, which we believe he did.
We've been
Bamford,
stop-start with internationals.
Yeah, Bamford to come back. The thing that pisses me off is we play Leicester and then it's international break again.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
in one respect, you're kind of like, oh, good, it gives us time to get players back and and do a bit of training. But it's like we just I think I'll be honest, I think it's been a joke the amount of internationals they've tried to squeeze in this short space of time. I think
And
it's
Arsene
just
Wenger's
not
still
really
pushing for that.
93
2-year
World
World
Cups. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a bell end. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So, yeah, big mentioning dispatches for Cody Drama, but ultimately, I think to be honest, I think a 1-0 would have been a fair result. I do think we could have done better with Eddie's goal, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though he tried his hardest to miss it for us. How he got man of match, by the way, on Sky, I'll never know. I will never know.
Was there one player that really played out the skin though? So yeah,
but it weren't-
so
it
then
weren't Eddie, I don't
I think by default it went to the winning goal scorer, didn't it?
Well, you could
That's
argue
kind of what happens.
You could argue Leno kept Arsenal in game first half. Why didn't he get man of match?
Yeah.
Anyway, by the by. So yeah, out of the Bull Spunk Trophy, never mind. We can not watch it.
A good
Like
cup run. Not bad.
Vietnamese Morrisons, last 16, one before
Yeah.
quarters. Anyway, yeah. Just before we move on and get one of our sponsors, Tony Avercroft says, "Who do you think our best pairing is at the back?" My personal opinion is striking Llorente. Although I don't think Cooper's been as bad as people have pointed out this year.
Yeah,
He
yeah. No,
made a bad mistake last night, but I'd go Cooper.
No
Llorente.
comment.
I'd go Llorente strike. I know, Ben, you've got an opinion. What about you, Mike?
I agree.
Ben, best pairing?
Yeah, I don't think they've played enough together. Well, I suppose they did back in the last year. And we've not seen it a lot this year. But yeah, I'd be picking Llorente and strike.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, by the way, just on that, Llorente, some of Llorente's passing last night were like sex. It was unbelievable. That through ball, not through to Dan James, who made a decent-ish first touch, but it kind of ran away from him. Is ridiculous, really. It's some pass that from a centre half. But anyway, moving on then to hear from one of our sponsors, the guys at Manscaped, introducing 5 million men now to the top brand in below the belt grooming. If you want to keep your plums in good order for your respective other half, then Manscaped are the company for you. Mike with a little giggle mentioning plums there. How's your Manscaped material going on, boys? Still getting a weekly run out, dependent on your hair growth.
weekly.
levels?
How fast does your hair grow?
Mate, I'll be honest. I use it on my head now, regularly.
Yeah.
Mate, I use it on my head. It's absolutely brilliant for bulb and your balls as well. It's class. I don't put ball toner on my head just yet. I've been called a knobhead a few times, but I'm not quite need to do that. But yeah, Manscaped. We can offer you an exclusive discount, 20% off plus free shipping with SHAVINGSHUTT at checkout. Go check out their website, manscaped.com. Loads of really good stuff on there, not just ball trimmers, but nose hair trimmers, ear trimmers, all that stuff. And loads of other good stuff. Get a cool wash bag, some lotions and potions, all that type of stuff. T-shirt, boxer shorts. Yeah, really good gift set for your respective other half. Go check them out, manscaped.com. Big thanks to them. And don't forget to use the discount code SHAVINGSHUTT at checkout. Right, lads, before we get into Norwich, I've got a quiz question for you. So I was contacted today by Gary McLennan from Belfast on Instagram. Just a bit of a general chat. I do have a bit of a general chat with people. And we were just chatting away about the game last night, how we thought we could be better and stuff. And he just banged a quiz question in. Now I'm a pretty level-headed guy. I don't want to put pressure on you, but I got the question right pretty much straight away. So no pressure, boys. But the question is this. Let me just get it up. So Patrick Bamford currently wears what number shirt at Leeds United?
9.
He does indeed wear the number 9 shirt. Can you boys name? Hold on. The other 4 players to wear the number 9 in the Premier League for Leeds United.
Viduka.
Viduka is 1. Well done.
I don't like this.
Hasselbank.
Hasselbank is correct. That's 2.
Chappie.
Mike,
Chapman.
just jump in if ever you want to. Like
Ian
no,
Rush.
Chapman is wrong. Ian Rush is the kicker that not many people get. 1 more.
Brian Dean.
Brian Dean. Well done, boys. Yeah, they were the 5 number 9s in the Premier League. Gary, when he messaged me, said that nobody ever gets Rush. But I remember Ian Rush being signed as a big marquee player, and then George Graham played him on the wing and at fullback for some unknown reason. But anyway, so yeah, big thanks to Gary for that. He's gonna come on. Go on.
They only brought in like official squad numbers, didn't they? Like dead late.
95-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
95,
So I said Chapman, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeboah, Steve Millard says Yeboah under 21. I had the turtleneck with Yeboah 21 on back. So yeah, Gary will be featuring on a feature that we have brought back. We decided we had lots of messages from people like dotted all over Canada, China, Belfast, all over the place. So we're going to bring back the away fans section where we're going to profile some of our fans who don't live very close to Leeds and in a true honour use this podcast to feel a bit closer to the club. Not just this podcast, I'm sure many others as well, but we are one of them. So we're going to bring it back, probably be next week, where we'll hear from some overseas fan. Moving on then to Delia Smithland. Where are you? This coming Sunday. So Norwich,
is that like where is Norwich?
Yeah, it's fucking awful to get to Norwich as well. It's like
miles away.
Oh, it's awful. The ultimate yo-yo club. I know, Ben, you mentioned it in the group, but I'll just put it. So basically, this is how I see Norwich. Go down, maintain most of the squad, get promoted at a canter, sell a few good players, sign some average players, drop back down to the champ. Them average players suddenly become great players, get promoted again, sell them said players, rinse and repeat.
You missed a step.
Would you accept? So my question was with that. Would you accept that as a fan?
Absolutely not.
It's a cultural thing, though, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
Northerners
as a Leeds fan, you wouldn't accept that.
No.
Yeah,
but like you look at Norwich, I think it's a good business model.
it is. Like I said, you missed the step of skim a load of dividends off the top.
It's just like. I don't understand. It's like watching them. It's like watching Burnley. Like I went to Burnley this year and I was talking to one of their fans and I said, look, mate, with all due respect, like I don't know how you manage to watch that week in, week out.
Yeah.
Yet it keeps you in Premier League, but at what point does that become not enough? But some of the Norwich fans are happy just to go up, go down, go up, go down, sell the best players, sign some other players, go up, go down.
The trophy cabinet's just full of second division trophies.
Boring, man. Just have a go.
But
try
it's
and
a
be a
cultural
better
thing,
team.
innit, of you want to challenge the order of things, and some people have it and some people don't. That's just, and I think it's a history thing as well. I think if you support a club that's got a history of winning major trophies, you want to get back to that. Whereas
it's different for us because we've been up there, we've won top divisions and stuff like that, and sort of relatively recently. If you're counting 30 odd years recently. But you look at the stature of their club and you compare them to clubs that are similar and that have been in the Premier League in sort of recent years. So Stoke could be one. They came up, they had a way of playing, then they ended up spending a lot of money to try and play in a different way to try and compete in the Premier League higher up. Now, that went to pot. And it does seem to happen with them sort of kind of clubs. And I guess Burnley could possibly go the same way as that. That if they want to then change and try and not be a survive every team. Because I had this conversation as well about Brighton and Graham Potter, because I think I'd quite like Graham Potter as a successor to Bielsa. If we're looking at now and what someone could bring after Bielsa.
Cut it.
I think what he brings in a football tactic sense is quite a very, not a direct line, but it does have a branch off kind of thing. But with Brighton, could you say that Potter has done good at Brighton because they've not really progressed. But do you expect, as a Brighton fan, to be able to progress? Can they? Their issue is, and like many other teams that have gone back down, maybe like your West Broms, your Huddersfields, Norwiches, they can't attract the players that a bigger club can.
Yeah. No,
and like for us, we've got that history and stuff like that we can maybe attract a player. And also, and this is one thing that I hear quite a bit, is sort of a big city. People want to go to your Manchesters. I mean, they've even said it about Newcastle, that who will go up to Newcastle? They've got all this money now, but who's going to go up to Newcastle? Because you're 3 hours away from the next sort of biggest area, or 2 hours from Leeds, 3 hours from Manchester. They're the next sort of biggest metropolitan areas to you. Or 4 5 hours to London. All the players want to sort of be in that sort of area.
Yeah.
And that's why Manchester gets a big draw. Maybe because both their teams have done really well in the last however many years, and they've grown that culture. But they can't attract these players. So is it a decent sort of move for Norwich to come up, not spend a lot of money, invest in younger players that are going to get, and a lot with their youth squad as well, that are going to get time to play in the Premier League, and then they're ready to come straight back up from the Championship, win it by a canter, and then go again and just keep doing the same thing, bank in the cash, and have that this is kind of our level.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
Success is relative to each club. Like we're saying there, that if that's their idea of success, then fair enough, And I think the fact that they are a kind of a gateway to the Premier League for a lot of very good Championship players might be drawn there because they go, well, I'm not good enough to go straight to the Prem, but I'm good enough to be Championship, and but it wouldn't do for us straight.
No,
you could say that.
I'm not saying it would.
No,
going back to Potter, mate, I suppose you could argue that he is a good coach because he's meeting what the Brighton board is setting upon him, which is keep Brighton in the Premier League. And I do agree that I dislike him. I'm not really sure why I dislike him. I think it's comments relating to Ben White, but I do think he's a decent coach, to be fair. And I do think he'll probably go on to have a better stab at a club than Brighton, where he'll have an opportunity to showcase his talents as a coach. But we'll have to see. Anyway, back to Norwich. Without a win this season, last game they lose 7-0 to Chelsea.
Can we say that before Southampton?
Hold on, there's a little bit of a Leeds connection there because a certain Samuel Byram plays for Norwich.
Really? Goddamn.
And we're probably going to get beat, lads, because they haven't won a game all season. Got beat 7-0, so that's nailed on for a 1-0 shithousery.
It has got that written all over it, hasn't it?
It has. But all joking apart, for me now, I've kind of accepted this season's going to be a bit of a grind, or certainly in the early run, if you like, probably up till Christmas when the stupid internationals disappear, or to a larger extent. Therefore, this game on Sunday is a must-win. For me, this is the first must-win of the season. We cannot go to winless Norwich if we have any aspiration to avoid a relegation battle and not win.
Yeah.
Not win.
Fully agree. It is a must-win, and the players will know it. So,
riddle you this then.
Again, perform like we did against Wolves, and we win that game 2-3-0.
Yeah. Does Cody Drama keep his spot at right back, or does Jamie Shark come back in? Mike, answer the question.
We're definitely doing we're not doing 3 at the back, are we? If they've got Pookie up front.
They're going to play the zombie that is Pookie up top, don't they?
Yeah. No, I'll give it to Shackleton because Kipak's.
Shackleton, cool. Ben, Shackleton, or does Cody Drama come back in?
I don't think there's a reason to drop him.
I agree, totally.
However, the Drama, that is. Only like, as well as Shackleton's done in a few games, Drama's a right back.
Yeah.
Play a right back.
I do have a feeling that it was a bit of an audition last night for Cody Drama. I mentioned it in group today, Ben, where I feel like Bielsa sacrificed the game last night against Arsenal. Not that we didn't try and win it, but he did sacrifice it in terms of he played some players into minutes, and I felt like he gave Drama an opportunity. So right, there you go. go and see what you can do on a really big stage. And I'd go with you, Ben. I don't feel like he did anything in that game where they should drop him. And I don't think that the last game that Shackleton had against Wolves was enough for him to say, no, that's my shirt. So it'll be interesting come 3 o'clock on Sunday. Is it 3 o'clock? 2 o'clock Sunday, isn't it? Is it 2?
2 o'clock Sunday.
2 o'clock. It'll be interesting come 2 o'clock Sunday who starts at right back. You'd hope Calvin will come back in and back into his Calvin role in the sort of holding midfield. It'll probably be Llorente and Cooper, I would imagine. Dallas at left back because Firpo appears to still be off it a little bit. The midfield.
Did he say Firpo might be back?
I don't know. I don't think he said as much. I think he kind of said that certain players would be missing Wolves and Arsenal. So I think a few people have jumped to the conclusion that maybe Bamford and Firpo and Ayling could be back. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there'll be a presser tomorrow, possibly before they travel down. So might get a bit more information there. Hopefully, Raf comes through his little injury. Dan James keeps his spot on left. Ben, would you agree with that?
Yeah. I don't think Harrison's done anything to say you must play me.
No, and we know that it'll be Rodrigo and Tyler Roberts, don't we? Let's agree that now that we know that Joffrey won't start the game on Sunday. So let's
it's
just
the perfect game for Joffrey.
Let's just agree now. Joffrey, not that bloke of Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is, guys.
Game of
Different
Thrones.
guy
It's
altogether.
the perfect game for Joffrey to come in.
Yeah,
But
we know he won't.
Yeah.
We know he won't.
No, he
won't.
probably won't because he seems to just love playing Tyler Roberts. But yeah, I agree with Mike there that I think it's a good game for Joffrey to start. They're without Ben Gibson, who absolutely totally lost his head in that Chelsea game and got sent off. I mean, as if it wasn't bad enough for them, they were getting absolutely panned. I mean, Chelsea were like walking pace.
Yeah.
And then he just decides, well, I'm just going to kick him.
Yeah, he's having it. That guy's having it.
Oh, they absolutely demolished him. They walked it into the net, like you said.
I'll tell you what then. Let's go to Ben's predictor, because Raggy's not here. Or as we're now going to call him from now on, you'll find out more in a minute. Raggy the Bastard.
Raggy's predictor.
Over to Ben then, the stand-in Raggy the Bastard predictor, man. Go.
Well, we joked about it, didn't we, before we came on, that the bastard baton has been passed on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike, congratulations. You are no longer Mike the Bastard.
Yeah, a great
well,
way has been lifted.
Well,
he's a half bastard, and you can have a half bastard as well, Gary, because you all seem to go for Arsenal.
Yeah, we're just being realistic, weren't we?
Yeah.
But there's Wolves as well, so you went 2-1 Leeds, I went 2-1 Leeds, Mike went 2-2, so you got a point.
Hold on, Mike.
And Raggy went 1-0 Leeds, didn't get any points. Then there was the Arsenal game last night. Gaz, you went 3-1 Arsenal, because you're a bastard. I went 2-1 Leeds, because I'm Leeds through and through.
apart from that one time when you backed Bolton.
Yeah. Mike went 2-1 Arsenal, and Raggy, the ultimate bastard, went 2-0 Arsenal, so he gets 3 points.
We don't care if he's poorly, he's still a bastard.
Yeah.
Well, he's just done a Mike, hasn't he? Because he's seen that he's got three points by being a bastard and skived.
He's not really poorly, he just don't fancy it. Go on then.
So yeah, that leaves us. Mike, you're on 12. Me and Raggy are now on 8, and Gary's leading behind with 6.
Bloody hell! I've had a bad one. I won it last year, I think. I've had a bad one.
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you get relegated if you come bottom?
Yeah.
You get relegated.
I get sent to a Norwich podcast if I lose. I get sent to a Norwich podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Norwich, Gaz.
3-0 Leeds.
3-0.
This is our coming out party.
I'm going to do the same.
3-0.
I was thinking 3-0. Are we going
Joe Gellart hat trick?
3-0 across the board?
Yeah.
What, when he comes on 70 minutes for Tyler?
Yeah.
Sound.
Yeah.
And Raggy's gone 2-0. So yeah, 3-0s and a 2-0.
Sound. So we will see come come Sunday at the Norwich Delia Smith Stadium.
What is it called?
Carrow Road.
Carrow Road. That's the
Yeah.
one. Carrow Road. Sean Hartley says 2-1 Sunday to us. So we'll have to see. And Gail Dale.
You're saying about Byram. I don't think Byram's played for him.
I am, mate.
I don't even know if Byram is still there. He's not on whoscored.com, so it can't be any
He's
good.
there, mate.
No.
Oh,
It's
and
like
also
when he was at West Ham and he sort of played a few games and then he was just benched.
Weren't there like a weird story that his family were West Ham fans? That's why he wanted to go there. Something like that.
He watched Green Street.
He got paid $30,000 a week just to chill in London, to be fair.
Also, they're just about to lose Billy Gilmore to, it sounds like, Rangers because he's not playing much at Norwich.
That's a really weird situation. Norwich have sort of said they don't want to thingy anyone else's players, but they've got Brandon Williams on loan.
Yeah, strange.
I think he's on loan.
Gail Dale, great name, has gone 1-1 for the game on Sunday.
Not good
Does
enough.
We need a win.
Anybody's got any more? Give us
a draw
shout.
is simply not good enough. It just isn't.
Agree. Before we move on then to Shithouse of the Week, which is a bumper edition this week, we're going to come to Mike wearing what someone has commented in the comments saying he stole his grandma's hat. What's happening at the terrace, Mike? What's happening in the Leeds range?
They've got grandma hats.
They've got grandma hats,
we got
yellow ones.
Terrace grandma hats. Hey, man.
What's going on, Mike? What are you working on at the moment? Any Leeds stuff? Going down Leeds.
Lots of Crimbo stuff, actually.
Is that? I saw some Christmas tree decorations. I'm going to order some of them this year because I meant to do it last year and then it was
Christmas tree decorations. Yeah. Oh, I've just gone on the website and my banner is up, which
yes,
I've done, which is very nice.
Can we get Talking Shutt Christmas tree decorations?
Yes.
Oh, we'd have to sort that.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to speak to Carl, get some Talking Shutt tree decorations, and we'll give some away.
Yeah, banging. Yeah,
give them away.
Can do that.
We'll give them away.
Yeah, as we said before, the Leeds Legends retro mug range is
good stuff.
Still going strong. You got Albert Johansson on there, Alan Clark.
Oh, Mike, sorry, just to jump on one. On about Albert Johansson. This previous Saturday, obviously, took my son to football before we knew we had the vid. And one of the little lads who plays football with Judd, his granddad brings him occasionally. And his granddad just rolled out there this week that he was kept out of the Leeds first team by none other than Albert Johansson. As a youngster, he was playing for Leeds reserves, and the only reason he weren't playing for the first team is because a certain Albert Johansson were playing ahead of him. Yeah. That's some claim to fame that. I were a little bit like dumbstruck. Going, that's pretty good. And
he's an absolute legend as well. Albert Johansson. Absolutely. I might have to get that myself. I mean, they look so good. I mean, there's obviously David Batty.
Yes.
Aliovski's there. I don't know how to put that in.
For Bants. Just for Bants, innit?
For Bants. Speedo, Charlton, you name it. And there's also, we got chopping boards now. And I'm just seeing, if you type Leeds into the search bar, the Packard Bell 2000 strip is now up online and live. The yellow and blue one, the away kit, as a chopping board.
We need a Talking Shutt chopping board because there's plenty of people on social media who would love nothing more than to chop an onion on our face. Yeah. I know for a fact that is true. So I'll speak to Carl again. Let's get some Talking Shutt chopping boards.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on for Leeds fans. Retro kit swim shorts, the Lukic goalkeeper kit with all the
I like them.
The geometric shapes, blackout range. Like I say, retro kit box sets as well, which come with a cup, a mug, a bottle opener. It's free personalisation on everything as well now. If you want like a little message or something for Christmas, it's free. All gift messaging is free. All you got to do is type Leeds in. Obviously, it's unlicensed, but it's fantastic stuff. Rafina mug now is already a Leeds legend. Yeah,
there we go. Go check them out at terrorstore.com. Amazing stuff. Been with us since the very start. Like brothers to us, brothers and sisters now. Actually, now they've grown so much. So yeah, absolutely. Get on board at the terrorstore.com. Let's move on to a very bumper edition of this.
Shithouse of the Week.
the shithouse of the week section, and it's a bumper edition this week, as you could see earlier on. I was quite passionate about some of the stuff that went on this past weekend. So, number one, bastard COVID, not related to people who bet against Leeds in Raggy's predictor, but COVID has ruined my entire week this week, to be honest. But all joking aside, my son's not too poorly with it, and that's the main thing. There'll be other times to go abroad, other times to go to away games, and there'll be other times to go to see the 23s on Saturday, and there'll be other times to go watch the Sheffield Steelers play hockey on Saturday. I'm not bitter about it; it's fine. Connor fucking Cody, that's from Raggy the Bastard. He's not happy at all with the ball bouncing off his head and him laying around on the floor. So Connor Cody's in there, and a guy who's been in here a few times before, Jamie O'Hara. He seems to have a real obsession with Bielsa and getting Bielsa the sack.
You know, since I deleted my Twitter, I don't actually hear anything he has to say anymore, and it's so good.
I don't follow anything relating to that radio station, but I did see his weird tweet that were like, call this number if you think Bielsa should be sacked. I don't think we should give him too much airtime in terms of like talking him up because, well, it's just a joke, to be fair, but has a real problem with Marcelo for some unbeknown reason. Jimenez and Huang for diving this Saturday just gone. We mentioned it before. And one I stuck in just before we came on the air, the International Football Association's board and technical advisory panel have recommended that 5 substitutions be implemented on a permanent basis in football. Now, the only people to benefit from this are the elite with massive squads because Pep Guardiola, Ole Gunnar, well, he won't do it because he ain't got a fucking clue. But spray on Pound Love Pep.
He'll make 5 changes, but Donny van der Beek will still be sat on the bench.
Still be on bench, yeah. Pound on Pep, we spray on hair.
If there's a chance, I'd take him on loan for 6 months.
Absolutely. Better than
without it. Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Mate, he's a class player, regardless. He can't get on bench.
And he obviously hates scum, not as much as we do.
As much as us.
Well, yeah.
So but you know, we know that the big team's the only ones that benefit from the 5 substitutions because it just lets them get more world-class players on the pitch. I mean, when the normal world-class players get tired.
Yeah,
maybe not so much Liverpool because their sort of front 4 is quite elite and they've not got anything to back that up. But like you look at Chelsea and City, they could put out 2 teams that would still probably finish in the top 4 in the Premier League. And that's the worry. I mean, like, so against Chelsea, if they've got Havertz and Werner, and as much as Werner hasn't been great in the Premier League, but they're bringing them kind of players on. Ziyech, I don't even think Ziyech starts for Chelsea.
I don't.
And stuff like that. Yeah, they've got them players to bring on, and they can bring 5 of them on. Yeah. And who've we got? Greenwood.
Yeah.
Some
more children.
Not to discredit these, but
no, they're just not there yet.
Leo Helder and Charlie Cresswell, who've played once or twice, one Premier League thing between them.
Rothwell's Leo Helder now. May I add? Rothwell's Leo Helder. He's moved into a flat in Rothwell. There you go. Not stalking him. He's just moved into me next door to my father-in-law. So that's all the reason I know. We'll bob them in there as well. Shout to LS14 Tony, says hi again from Germany. People, whereabouts in Germany? Tony, I lived there for 3 years. Lovely. Guten Abend, isn't it?
No, Pontus Janssen lived in Rothwell, and he was quite fond of the Domino's takeaway there. He was photographed there a number of times. Yeah,
no, under Bielsa.
That's why I didn't last under Bielsa. Bielsa caught him getting Domino's.
Yeah. So, lads, who are we giving it to? Bloody COVID-19 for ruining my week. Connor, Cody, are we giving it to Jamie O'Hara or Jimenez and Huang, or are we giving it to these who are just going to pander to the bigger teams, or have we got any wild cards to put in there?
I want to give it to fucking, what's his, is it Saiss, Roman Saiss?
Oh, yeah, I never even thought of him, did we?
Yeah, just for being a dirty bastard.
Yeah, that twat. So, bob him in there as well. Who are we getting it to, lads? I don't need to recap them.
Can we just make it Wolves in general, just for ultimate time wasting?
As a combined effort,
giving kicks out that should have been fouls, but which one? And then just general cheating.
Do you know what's annoying about?
I mean, there was
Wolves
one, the one of Jimenez where I can't remember if the Leeds player sort of clears the ball and then he just dives up in the air and falls over.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my!
yeah,
I saw that one. It was like,
And it was like he was nowhere near the ball.
Delay, and he
Yeah.
just went. Ugh. Yeah, I remember that. And he gave a foul.
But the referee had no control over any of that.
Yeah.
We're also forgetting to Bob Mikel Arteta in there for pretending that Cody Drama elbowed somebody in the face. The weird spray on head freak. So yeah, we probably could go on all night really and just pick misdemeanors out because I think we're that way out tonight. But should we just give it to Wolves? The thing that annoys me about Wolves is they are probably one of the most entertaining Championship teams I've seen at Elland Road, and they played on the front foot and they played aggressive football and they kept it going like we did, and they were quite an exciting team to watch. And now they're one of them cynical, shitty game management.
In 3 Premier League games that we've played against them, they haven't come toe-to-toe with us. All they've done is shithouse 2 victories and a draw.
Yeah, totally agree.
I suppose at the end of the day, it only shows that they got 2 victories and a draw.
Yeah.
But it's just not...
It's a shame, isn't it, to see... Because the Premier League needs good teams. It doesn't need any more shithouse teams. To say it's the best league in the world, and you sat there watching that, it's like to see a team like that managed, obviously instructed to be like that. It's just a shame, and just lets the league down, doesn't it? We don't need more teams like that.
It does indeed. We'll just give Wolves it. As a whole. So yeah, they're win shoutouts of the week. That brings us, lads, to an abrupt end of episode 166 of the Talking Shutt podcast. I just have to kind of reach out to everybody who's tunes in, week out, comments. We see the same names pop up all the time, and we can only but appreciate the fact that you come and waste an hour and 21 minutes of your time listening to us talk bobbins about the game before. All that said, if you want to be part of the new up-and-coming away fan section, which is fans who live away from Leeds, then just drop us an email at talkingshutt@gmail.com and we will get you on the show via a voice note. Big thanks to everybody who does tune in, downloads it. For those who don't watch it live, thanks very much. Please share it. We have, I think, in line with the team's fortunes, took a little bit of a hit on the downloads, but I think it's the way of the world at the moment. So yeah, just stick with it. Don't forget, next week we'll be back at Osset, COVID dependent, various other things, COVID permitting. And enjoy and safe journey to anybody who's heading down to Dealey Smith Land. That place down there with canaries and yellow shirts, pink changing rooms, all that type of stuff. And we'll see there.